Hey friends, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a Q&A. I'm trying to remember the last time I did one of these. I feel like it was maybe almost a year ago. I was excited to get your questions before we get into it. I have been getting, I think because I've just been able to really do my makeup more, I've been getting more questions and some very, very sweet comments about my appearance lately, especially about my hair. But anyway, so I thought I would just start by telling you what my lip combo is today, and I will have everything linked below. The lip pencil I'm using is MAC in Soar, which I think is a pretty popular color, followed by Back Talk by Urban Decay lipstick, which is absolutely one of my favorites, and I didn't realize how much I missed it when it was in storage until I got it back. And then on top I have this, I'm actually sharing it with Hannah. It's the NYX, because I think it's pretty new, Duck Plump is what it's called, in the color Mauve Out My Way. Get it? Like move out of my way, mauve out my way. Anyway, that's my lip combo today. And this, the plumping one, is definitely plumping. Although I have to say, when you wear it on top of another lip color, it's not like as stingy. But if you wear it on its own, it's pretty intense. So I have your questions printed out here, so I will just go through them. There's definitely some ones that are like, I think, duplicates. I didn't pay a whole bunch of attention, but I was just typing them out because I film on my phone, and so I couldn't see them then. Also, before I start, let me just say thank you so much for those of you who submitted questions. It's always great to hear from you, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, also I have my little coffee here because I'm going to be talking for a while, so I figured I probably should have some kind of liquid. Okay. Please, first off, apologize if I butcher your screen name or whatnot. The first two questions, these are, I'm doing Instagram first, are from Taylor.Elcoury, I think is how you say it. First thing she asked, most surprising thing about shopping luxury. And the second question is content creation, your full-time role. Most surprising thing about shopping luxury. I'm gonna say that I think the most surprising thing, and I think I certainly have known this, it really hit me in the face when I got all of my bags back, and finally now they're all out of their dust bags and they're actually organized now. I don't know if it's gonna stay that in the way they are, but it's, you know, it's fine for now. But I think what is surprising is how much the amount of money that I am willing to spend on a bag now versus, I mean, even probably 4 years ago, how it has dramatically changed. And I know we've talked about this before. Dale did a video about it. I did a video sort of commenting on her video about this whole idea of bag creep, which is very similar, obviously, to lifestyle creep, in that you know, the more money you have, the more things you buy, and you know, you sort of don't, you know, if we all could have maintained the same standard of living that we maintained when we were in college, when we had no money, now we'd all have a bazillion dollars, right? But you just, you know, you get nicer cars and nicer houses, and in this case, nicer bags. Now, of course, it doesn't help or hurt, I guess, or I should say it's not our fault from the standpoint of that prices have gone up tremendously. But I just think that it is also a mind shift. So I think, like I said, looking at my bags and seeing some of them and thinking how much they cost was, yeah, quite eye-opening. And that will kind of go into, I think, sort of some other questions too. The second question is content creation your full-time role. It is absolutely not my full-time role. And we've got some other questions about what I do coming up, so I will save that for later. But no, I am not a full-time content creator. Next question is from Lisa Lara. How are the kids feeling about the move? And she also did add at the end, I didn't include this here, that if it was too personal, I didn't have to answer it. I would say that the kids are loving it. I will say that I was really surprised, actually, Hannah went on a trip with David back to Kansas City, basically kind of the very end of January. They had a little break in school, and David was taking a business trip back to Kansas City to meet with some of his employees there, and so she went with, and got to go to the high school that she would have gone to, and saw some of her friends there, and then spent the night with like her best friend, and her best friend arranged like a surprise kind of party for her, and so there were a whole bunch of her old friends. It was super, super sweet. And I really expected Hannah to come back and miss Kansas City. I really expected her to come back with sort of oh, I really missed Kansas City and I wish we didn't move and all those kind of things. But she actually came back exactly the opposite. Now, don't get me wrong, she loved her time. She loved seeing her friends. It was a ton of fun. But she's like, I'm glad we're here though. So I think both kids would absolutely say that they really, really like the sense of freedom that they have here. Nick and I were just talking about this the other day. If we were back in Kansas City, I would have to take them wherever they wanted to go. I mean, unless they were going to a neighbor or a friend that didn't live super far away where they could walk or ride their bike. Anytime they wanted to go to the mall, or Hannah wanted to go to Target with her friends, or, do whatever, I had to take them. I had to take Nick to baseball practice. I had to take Nick to baseball games, like all of those things. And all of those things now are things that they can do on their own. And I think they really, really like that. Now, obviously, if we were in Kansas City when they turned 16, they obviously would have been able to drive. And so that would change at that time. But since we're not at that age yet, and they just turned 15, so they still would be relying on me or David in this case too. But yeah, so they're really, really liking it. They've both made tremendously good friends here. I mean, Hannah, especially right from the get-go. Nick's like two best friends ended up going to the same high school. And so it's just been great. And we've had the kids over here, and they've had sleepovers, and they come over and play video games. It's just really nice. And Nick, I think, would actually say that I think that he is closer to his friends here in New York than he was to his friends back in Kansas City. So yeah, thanks for the question. They're loving it. Ninka1 asks, how do you like living in New York City? Parenthesis, New York City girl here. So glad to meet another NYC girl. I really like it. I'm gonna share some sort of, I don't know how to say they're revelations, but some feelings and some thoughts that have come to mind since starting my no buy, low buy year as it relates to New York City specifically. So I'll save that for my check-in that I'm gonna do in February. I really enjoy it. I think it's great. I love being able to get out and walk. I love, I like taking public transportation. I think that's great. The one thing that I would say that I would change living here now and knowing what I know is I wish we would have kept one of our cars. And I think I may have mentioned that in my last Q&A video. Yeah, sometimes I feel a little constrained, and obviously I can go anywhere via public transportation. So if I need to get somewhere else in Manhattan, or even to another borough, I can take public transportation. But sometimes, like the example I gave of Nick needing baseball things, he needed new cleats, he needed a new glove, and it's just not that easy to do in Manhattan proper. Now we could have, I think there's some Dicks like farther out into Brooklyn and probably even Queens, but getting there on public transportation takes a really long time. And frankly, it would just be easier to go to New Jersey or something. My point is that there are some places that I want and or need to go that really would be easier if we had a car. And sometimes I just feel like I want to do something, but I can't do it because I don't have a car at our disposal. So that would probably be the only thing that I would really change. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely better now that our entire, co-op is done and the renovation is done and all of our things are here. That's made a huge, huge difference. Susan0801 asks, do you see many luxury bags in the wild in New York? Yes, I do. I have to say I don't see that many up where I live, which is interesting because we live on the Upper East Side. I think if I lived more in the like super shishi, as I would call it, area of the Upper East Side, you know, if I lived at, I don't know, 70th and between 5th and Madison or something, I would probably see a lot more there. But we live a little bit farther north and a little bit farther east. So because of that, I think we live in a pretty, you know, just kind of normal neighborhoody kind of area. So I don't probably see as many here, but oh my gosh, yeah. If I'm down in Soho or, like I said, more kind of on what I would call the traditional Upper East Side, that sort of, you know, 60 to 80s between 5th and, you know, Park kind of thing, yeah, you'll see a ton there. Mary Angel B1 asks, do you ever feel uncomfortable wearing your luxury bags in New York City? The answer to that is unequivocally no. This is a really interesting topic for me because I know there have been some discussion about this, and I recently had some text conversation with my friend Emily, who's also a subscriber here. Hi, Emily. About it because she made me aware of, oh gosh, I will insert the name. I'm just blanking on the creator's name right now, who recently had an attempted mugging, and she lives in San Francisco. Now, my understanding is the crime in San Francisco is really, really bad. David was recently there, and even when he rented his car, the car rental guy was warning him about, you know, making sure you don't leave anything in the car and whatever. So I don't know what's going on in San Francisco, but I understand it's pretty bad. But I've also seen recently, I think Sophie Shohat recently made some comment, and I'm also blanking now. There was another creator whose name I am totally blanking on. I apologize. I guess I didn't really think about a lot of these questions before I started filming. But this concept of the prices of bags are going up so much that people are now afraid to wear their bag. I don't understand that concept for a couple of reasons. One, everything is going up in price, and bags even before went up in price. So I don't really understand why that is. And I guess one of my questions to the people that feel that way of, oh my gosh, my bag has gone up so much in price that now I'm afraid to carry it. And I guess maybe some of those people are the people who, you know, bought their classic flap when it was $4,000 and now it's $10,000 to buy a new one. And so there's a vast difference between there. But, you know, like for example, Sophie drives really, really, really expensive cars, you know, Lamborghinis, Ferrari, I mean, like really expensive sports cars. And she drives those. So I don't really understand why you would be afraid to carry your bag if you are going to drive a car. And to me, a car is way flashier than a designer bag. The second point is, and this is, I'm sure everything I say here is a hot take, okay? And please, if you are uncomfortable carrying your bags wherever you are, please do not take anything that I am saying right now as that you should carry them with all the confidence and that you shouldn't be scared and that you shouldn't be nervous and whatever. Please, your feelings are your feelings and they are completely valid. These are just my feelings. My feelings are, especially as it relates to the, you know, bag prices are going up so much, so now I'm like a bigger target. I just don't think that like the common thief is monitoring the price of a Chanel classic flap. Like, I just don't think that they think, oh, Chanel just had another price increase, better go grab that bag. I mean, really? I mean, it just, so that argument to me just doesn't really hold water. I think it's more, you know, if you are carrying your bag handheld instead of crossbody, or, you know, on your shoulder and holding it, or on the crook of your arm so you can't get it off. You know, I know in the case, and I have not watched her video, so I may have this completely wrong and I don't know. But, you know, in thinking about the fact that the creator in San Francisco, she was carrying a Birkin 25, which, as we all know, is essentially a handheld bag. When you're carrying a handheld bag, you are much more susceptible to somebody being able to grab your bag and run, right? I mean, it's just, and if, I don't know if you guys remember, and if you watch, I guess this is sort of my point of the whole, you know, thieves aren't really keeping track of price increases and how much bags are worth. I think it's more about what's in your bag that they care about. And a perfect example of this, and Emily was the one who reminded me of it, was, I can't remember the character's name right now, and Just Like That. In the last season, she has her Birkin stolen. She's walking down the street, a guy comes and grabs her Birkin and runs, and she's devastated and she's trying to find it. And at the end of the episode, she sees the Birkin just like thrown into some bushes on the side of the road. Clearly, the thief had no clue, nor did he care about the fact that it was a Birkin. He just wanted, I'm sure, whatever cash was in her wallet, or credit cards probably, to go try to, you know, buy things with her credit cards. So I think maybe we're giving thieves a little too much credit here. I could be wrong. This is a very long-winded answer to say that no, I don't feel scared to carry my bags. I don't go into areas where I don't feel safe. So I guess, you know, I don't put myself in a situation where I think that I could get mugged or that somebody would take something. Now, that's not to say that it can't happen. It can happen anywhere. But my point is, I think that I'm smart about where I go. I think I am conscientious about my surroundings. If I am anywhere where I, you know, maybe get that little spidey sense tingling thing, you know, that bag immediately becomes held closer. Or, you know, if it's a shoulder bag, like I said, you know, holding on to it when you're walking, not just having it, you know, dangling down by your side and your arm at your side so that somebody can very easily just slip it off your shoulder and run. So I think you need to be aware of things. But yeah, I don't, I think somebody else had a question about, you know, do I feel any differently about being here than in Kansas City? And yeah, I mean, I don't. I really don't. So anyway, hopefully that answered the question, and you got a lot more to that answer than you ever thought you probably would. All right, I clearly need to speed this up here. We are going to be here all day. Miss Righty asks, what do I do for a living? I am an attorney by trade, and I work for a national healthcare company that negotiates, and I negotiate contracts for healthcare things. 408 California 415, do you wear jeans with distressing or rips in the knees? And it was cute because she asked that question, and then like the next day or something, I posted a picture on Instagram with me wearing some jeans with ripped knees. I would say that I don't wear jeans with like a ton of distressing. You know, a little bit of an at a knee here, but I don't wear like those busted out jeans. That was 10 years ago for me, maybe something like that. Yeah, in my 50s, I don't wear those kind of jeans. Melissa from Melissa Adams Wade. Any creator that asks a question, I will make sure that their channels are linked below, so make sure you check them out. Melissa and I are doing a collaboration together. We are both doing a low buy / no buy year, and then Melissa asked, why did you decide to do a low buy year in 2024? Just because I needed to. It just, and especially now having all of my things back, I realize how many bags I have, and I need to slow the roll. And after counting how many bags I bought in 2023, I really need to slow the roll. I just want to be conscientious of what I'm bringing in. I want to make sure that I'm bringing things in that I absolutely love. And I've learned so much already in the first 2 months. I don't know if you I think you feel the same way. Melissa and I text pretty frequently. So yeah, so I just, fewer things. I don't want to say fewer nicer things, because I think I obviously tend to buy nice things anyway, but like even from like a clothing perspective, I've done a lot of, wardrobe decluttering, and you guys saw my makeup declutter. You're going to see my shoe closet declutter, and then you'll finally see my actual closet declutter as well. And I'm going to do some additional videos talking about how I'm kind of handling my wardrobe and some things I'm doing to shop my closet as opposed to shopping new items. So styling over shopping, I guess, is a good way to think about it. So the Katie Danger asks, are there any bags that you find you don't reach for as much as you want to? Those of you who have followed my channel probably know the number one bag that I would say, and that is my Kelly 28. I don't reach for it at all. So yeah, other than that, it's kind of hard to say, because my bags, so many, like 95% of my bags were in some form of storage for the last like 6 months. So I don't know if I can really answer it any more than the Kelly. The Kelly I always had access to, even though when it was in storage, like starting in August, it was in its box, in a dust bag, in its dust bag, in its box, up on a shelf. If I wanted to carry it, I could have. I mean, it was not like my other bags, which were all in like big boxes that were taped and sealed, and I didn't know which bag was in which box, and that would have been a pain. I knew exactly where my Birkin and Kelly were during that part of the storage renovation. So yeah, that would be my answer. Sheila, do you get annoyed by the low buy story and the minimalist trend when you have a good amount of nice bags and you enjoy having them? And do you feel guilty buying bags when others are in the minimalist wagon? I feel they are pushing this too much. I will not stand down. I'm in love with my bags and seeing your bags and everyone else's love for their bags, etc. Well, yeah, obviously I'm doing a low buy, so I don't get annoyed by it at all. And I don't really get annoyed by the minimalist trend either. I think that you just need to take in what content speaks to you. And if a creator has now, shifted gears, and I know Amelia Rose just recently had a video that I listened to actually last night about luxury creators who have basically sort of pivoted in the content that they're creating and are no longer talking really about luxury, and in some cases have really gone the minimalist route. I sort of watched Colorful Noir, and I watched some of her newer videos on occasion. I definitely had been subscribed to Caitlin for a long time, and I'm not subscribed to Caitlin anymore. Not because I don't like what she has to say. It's not something that really interests me right now. She's kind of going, I think, more of the self-help kind of, how you change your life kind of thing, and I don't need that right now. I'm not looking for that kind of advice, so that's just why I'm not subscribed to her. So I think that if there's a content creator that's going in a different direction of which you're not a fan of, then, absolutely don't watch them anymore. But it doesn't bother me. The other question, do I feel guilty buying bags when people are minimalist? I only feel guilty about buying bags because I probably have more, I have way more than I need. So it's not necessarily from people who are kind of preaching a minimalist, because again, I don't watch those people. I do watch a couple of like mindful consumption creators who I love. I will have them linked below. I know I've talked a lot about Hannah Louise Poston, and I also watch Christina Michis. I never know how to say her last name. She's a Canadian creator. And I started watching Christina when she was, full in, Aritzia girl, hauls all the time, buying new clothes, through then when she became really a true minimalist and, decluttered every other video I felt like was a decluttering video from her. I didn't watch as much during that time, and now she's kind of coming back sort of into the middle. I love how she describes herself. It's minimalist-ish, I think is how she she describes it. Minimalish, I think that's how she says it. She's a minimalish, not a minimalist. So, you know, she still likes nice things, but she found that she has a true passion for fashion and things like that. And so because of it, she doesn't want to be a minimalist. She doesn't want only, you know, 30 pieces in her wardrobe. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate her sort of seeing her journey from being a maximalist all the way to the other side of the spectrum to a minimalist to then kind of coming back, like I said, kind of towards centered. KKLVOESCC. I don't know if that spells something. She also has a couple of questions on YouTube as well. But her question here is, which is your current favorite bag? Come on, girl. That's like asking who your favorite child is. Right now, I would say my current favorite bag, I'm probably gonna say it's a tie between the two bags that I've recently unboxed for you guys, and that is the Chanel Kelly / Nano / mini shopping tote and the Fendi metallic mini baguette. So those are probably my top two. That I've just been trying to think about different outfits that I've been styling lately and what I've gone out in, and I think that's it. Mrs. Kelly Spicer asks, what is your professional background? I already talked about that. Ninka1 asks, how and at what age did you become interested in luxe? I don't know that I would say how. I've always been into fashion magazines. I remember, you know, as a teenager and then through college having subscriptions to, you know, Mademoiselle and Glamour, and then later more into Vogue and Harper's Bazaar as I got, you know, a little more into my 20s, that kind of thing. I didn't really start buying luxury until probably like early 40s, I would say. I'm definitely kind of late to the game, and I think I've always had an interest in it. I've always loved seeing it, but I just think I had different priorities in my life at that time. You know, we have 4 kids, and so there's a lot of expense that goes into that. And yeah, I just think that at the time, I mean, I wish I had prioritized it maybe a little earlier, because I would have been able to pick up pieces certainly at a less expensive price. But yeah, I think I've always had a love for it, but really didn't start getting into it, like I said, until my early 40s. Moving into YouTube questions, Abigail R995 asks, I remembered a while ago you unboxed a pair of Fendi Feel sandals. What do you think of these shoes now? Would you recommend? Thanks. Well, Abigail, it's funny you should say that, but spoiler alert, they're going to be in my vlog sale on Friday. And not because I don't like them. I really like them. I wore them once for probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. They were super comfortable. I remember we were out walking. We ended up going to like the street fair. So I did a fair amount of walking. And then I think then David and I went and walked in Central Park for a little while. So I put, you know, a good amount of time that one day into them. And they're comfy. They're super comfy. And I will say, like, there is no wear on those shoes whatsoever. You'll see it when I show them in the vlog sale. But the soles are like perfect. So they almost look brand new. And like I said, only worn once. They're just not my style. I was definitely influenced by stuff from Handbagaholic to buy those shoes. And I just, yeah, they're just not my style. Super comfortable. Would highly recommend if you are a 38 or sometimes wear a 38 and a half, check out the vlog sale because they'll be a good price. So, slightly neurotic. I love her screen name. I told her that before. Asks, same question. Are you nervous about carrying certain bags in the city versus the burbs? Are you thinking of culling your collection down? Your favorite bag at the moment? So I think kind of most of those I've answered, except for, are you thinking of culling your collection down? Which then makes me think that you're either like Australian or maybe from the UK. We don't use the word cull here in the United States. We use declutter. So Anyway, so let me know if I'm right. I could be totally wrong, but I've never heard a United States person, an American, say cull. Not that I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I think it's like local thing. Anyway, yes, obviously, because I am doing a vlog sale. If you haven't seen already, my very first vlog sale will be Friday's video this week. So make sure that you are subscribed so you know when that goes live. It was kind of my first pass at it. We'll see. I didn't want to go too far into potentially getting rid of things when I just got a lot of my things back and I don't want to have seller's remorse. So the things that I'm letting go of, I feel very good about letting go. They are bags and small other goods and a couple pair of shoes that I just do not reach for. And so I feel comfortable. Other bags or other SLGs that may come at a later date will have to wait. I want really the dust to settle and for me to live with what I have before letting anything else go. So thank you for the question. Grayson 4729, would you ever get an Hermes Kelly or would you get another Chanel handbag for the same price? Well, Grayson, I have a Kelly. I have a Kelly 28 in Gris Meyer in Togo leather with gold hardware. And I do not carry it. So no, I would not get another Hermes Kelly. Although some people have told me that I would like a 25 better. But I don't know. It's not the size of the 28. I don't know. I've yet to really still pinpoint my thing with Kelly. So yes, I would get another Chanel handbag or maybe a Fendi bag or maybe a Louis Vuitton bag for the same price. So Coco, who is also a creator here on YouTube, I will have her channel linked below. She has an incredible Hermes collection. I mean, she's got a great collection overall, but has an amazing Hermes collection. Would you change anything about your renovation if you had to do it over? How are you enjoying your B25? Any other H bags on your wish list? First question, would I change anything about the renovation? I would have picked a different contractor because that was a nightmare. I would have, I think the one thing that I would have changed, we changed. So we ripped out the backsplash that the original contractor installed, which I picked, and I take full responsibility for that choice. I stand by the choice. I stand by that I still like the tile, but I did not end up liking it in the actual space with the cabinets. It just looked a little too like bachelor patty 1980s or something to me. I don't know. I really like the tile. I still think it's really pretty. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's probably the only thing, like I said, that I would have changed. Actually, there's one more thing. I have noticed that in the hallway, even though we have 2 hall sconces in the hallway, I wish we had a little more light in the hallway that runs like kind of the length of the apartment. Other than that, I don't think so. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and I know I owe you guys like a whole, before and after tour kind of thing. I think I'm pretty close to being ready to film that. I was selling a few things, some like bigger things, a couple pieces of furniture and things like that were just kind of sitting around, not where they were ever going to be because they were just waiting to be sold. So those things have now been sold. So I have a couple more pictures to put up on the wall, and then I will film that, I promise. Second second question, am I enjoying my Birkin 25? Yes, I am. Maybe even a little more than my Birkin 30, but it's just it's easier to take in the city if I'm going out, because it's smaller and a little bit lighter. Now, on the other hand, I can't really put it on the crook. I mean, I can't put it on the crook of my arm for sure. I can't put it, up to my elbow like I can the Birkin 30. But so, there's pros and cons, I guess, to it. But yes, I'm enjoying it a lot. I love the color. It is perfect with my wardrobe. Any other H bags on your wish list? Always and forever will be a Birkin 25 in Rose Poupre with palladium hardware. I am just waiting for Amelia Rose to get tired of hers so I can buy it from her. One of you very kindly sent me a listing to one not too long ago, and if I hadn't have just purchased a taupe one, I 100% would have bought that bag. So keep them coming. You know, eventually I will be in a place where I will feel comfortable to buy it. But yeah, for right now, that's probably as far as quota bags go. Next question, SV8413. Hi Lisa, would you consider a sequined Chanel bag? Sure. Yeah, I don't know why I wouldn't. I mean, if it was just, you know, if I'm choosing between that and like a really practical bag, and I need a practical bag, I wouldn't pick the sequin. But given my current collection, sure, why not? Sip of the coffee and just had a bite of an oatmeal cookie. All right, here is another question from KKLVOESCC asking, I remember you saying your Hermes journey is over. Did you ever share why? Curious to hear. Yes, you heard me say that. Yes, I think I pretty much still stand by that, and I owe you guys a video on that whole topic, so I will defer the answer to that video, so make sure I know you're subscribed. But if you're watching this and you're not subscribed and you want to hear why my Hermes journey is over, subscribe. And don't forget the notification bell. Alaria asks, how has your luxury / handbag style evolved, especially after having your kids and while they have grown up? So I guess sort of as I mentioned, I didn't really start buying luxury handbags until my early 40s. So basically when the twins were born. So, you know, Morgan and Jack were 7 and 10. So, I mean, I remember my very first Chanel bag that I had bought. I bought it at the Wynn Boutique in Las Vegas. And I remember taking that bag everywhere. Like I took it to Jack's baseball games. I mean, I used that bag. And you know, my first couple Louis Vuitton bags, again, same kind of thing. I didn't own a Neverfull that long ago. So I was never like that Neverfull mom. So yeah, I don't know that it's really changed like due to kids. I think just my style has evolved in general. Linda Thompson asks, what's your favorite part of living in New York City and what don't you like? I think my favorite part is just the city itself. It's just, there's an energy here, and the diversity of people is amazing. And I just think that the general feeling of the city and the pulse of the city is what I enjoy the most. What do I enjoy the least? Not having a car. Yeah, I'm gonna say not having a car. I know some of you might have thought it would have been the sirens that are outside. I really don't notice them, especially up here. I definitely noticed them, and I mentioned this when we were in that temporary apartment down at 34th and 1st, because oh my gosh, it was like, I'm not kidding, every 5 minutes there was a siren. It was ridiculous. And now that I'm saying that, I feel like I can hear one. Yeah, in the distance, I can hear one. But you tune it out. I mean, we're in a pretty quiet neighborhood, I would say. That was also something that was so different about being there. Like, I didn't realize how different the city can feel depending on where you live. That's kind of a unique thing, I guess. I mean, I guess that's that way anywhere, but I think when you live in the suburbs, that is pretty homogenous, and so nothing really changes. Even if you move from one subdivision to another, like it's all kind of the same. Whereas here you can move from one neighborhood and then move 10 blocks away and it is a completely different vibe. So that's kind of a cool thing about New York. Robin Cole asks, any regrets about moving to New York City? What, if anything, do you miss about Kansas City? And does your husband have any luxe items? Well, let's answer that first, because that is an unequivocal no. He does not. David does not spend on him. He wouldn't want me to spend on him. He is struggling right now with deciding whether or not he is able, and I don't mean able from the standpoint of affording, but able in the essence of his being, of keeping a pair of $175 Hoka tennis shoes. Like, it is like eating away at him. He will not spend money on himself. He is frugal beyond frugal. I would say, honestly, if you looked up the definition of cheap in the dictionary, you see a picture of David. He just doesn't like, when it comes to himself. Sometimes with other things too, but he lets me do me, thankfully. Any regrets about moving to New York City? What, if anything, do you miss about Kansas City? I miss my house. I'm not gonna lie. There are definitely times, hopefully I won't get teary when I'm saying this, yeah, where I just miss the space. It's definitely better now that we have the entire use of the apartment back, and you know, I can be in here filming or working, and David is in kind of his little office area, and then the kids could be watching TV in the living room. And there's, you know, in the beginning of the renovation, when literally everything was in our bedroom, it was our kitchen, it was both of our offices, it was our living room, and it was our bedroom, like all in one, that was rough. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, sometimes I miss my house, I miss my kitchen. I really like our kitchen here, in the realm of a lot of New York apartments, that we are very fortunate to live in the size apartment that we live in, and that our kitchen, and I've got, you know, an amazing walk-in closet, and you know, just all of those things. So probably my one regret, or I think, what was your question? Any regrets about moving to New York City? I mean, my only regret, and it will always be, and now I am starting to get emotional, is, God, Lisa, is not being near Jack. Okay. Okay, I think I'm done with that. Ms. Easy Beautiful, what do you do for a career? I've already talked about that. How is your no-buy going? It's going really, really well. Stay tuned. Melissa and I will have our February check-ins out on Monday, March 4th. So we're going to release them. They'll always be released on the first Monday of the month after the month ends. Hopefully that made sense. What is your favorite part of living in New York City? And I think I already talked about that too. Tracy Rotkamp asks, hi Lisa, what is Hannah's favorite bag in your collection? My daughter Colette and I love your vlogs together. That's just awesome. I love hearing that. And what are your thoughts on the Lady DJoy bag? Okay, so first, funny, Hannah had just come home when I was just about to start filming this, and I'm like, I need your help. You need to go into my closet and pick your favorite bag. So Hannah's favorite bag is actually a bag that you guys have never seen, and that is this kind of a champagne gold Chanel mini flap, rectangular flap. I think, I could very well be getting this wrong. I think it's from 22P. I think I made a mention, I don't remember what the video was, and then I was talking about the 19K gold from the Egyptian collection mini bag, mini flap that I missed out on, and that I would love to get my hands on. And I said that I have another gold bag that I bought sort of in its place. I love this bag, and it's definitely a dressier bag for me. It's been in storage, so I haven't seen this bag since like August, whatever, of 2022. So I don't use it very frequently, but you know, it takes the place nicely. It is nowhere near the gold, like in your face gold of the 19K Egyptian one. So please send me those links if you come across those. But Hannah, the reason why she loves this, she said, is because it reminds her of Serena, what is it, like Vanderpump? No, that's Vanderpump Rules. Van, whatever her name is, from Gossip Girl, because she's like, she loves gold. She wears a lot of gold things. So anyway, this is Hannah's favorite bag. Who knew? I didn't know that. And like I said, she hadn't seen it in a long time either. I don't even think she remembered that I had it. I frankly didn't remember that I still had it. What do I think about the Lady DJoy? I really like it. It was one of those bags that I didn't really like when it first came out. That whole East-West thing when it first came out was sort of like, really? Especially with the Lady Dior. Like, it's so iconic. So then to take the bag and to like sort of chop it in half and pull it out so it's longer. It just seemed sort of sacrilegious to me almost. But now I really, really like it. And I know Deb from Wild Unfiltered, I'll have her channel linked below as well, just recently unboxed one. So if you didn't see what she got a beautiful color. I won't tell you what exactly she got. So I could see myself getting one. And what I really, really like about the DJoy over the Lady Dior is the fact that the handles go down. So that to me is a huge win for that bag over the regular Lady Dior. So yeah, I'm a fan. I could see adding one to my collection. And last but not least, from, is it Gaia 1002? And there's several. How do you like your Birkin 25? Would you add another? How many bags do you have in total? And if you were to live with just one bag, what would that be? That's rough. That's even worse than the which is your favorite bag right now. One, I think I already answered the question. I'm loving my Birkin 25. Would I add another? I think I've answered that too. Absolutely. And Rose Poupre with Palladium hardware. How many bags do I have in total? I'm not going to answer that because one, I don't know, and two, because it's kind of in flux right now with the whole vlog sale. And the last one, if I was to just live with one bag, what would that bag be? Wow. I really should have put some thought into this question before getting on camera. So from my perspective, if I could only have one bag, it would need to be a bag that could really, you know, do lots of duties, right? It could be an everyday bag. It could be a dressier bag. I mean, I don't think we can ever expect our bags to be both an everyday bag and like a super dressy bag, right? So I don't think, you know, I don't think we can expect to take any bag that we would also use during the day to like a black tie event. So, but you know, to a nice dinner kind of thing. I'm gonna give you a couple choices. I'm gonna go with my Celine Triumph bag. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. My Prada re-edition 2005, and I've talked about it for that reason too, that it goes day to night. I could potentially see like my So Black Mini, but if I only have one bag in my collection, like I just think that it might be a little limiting from a size perspective, which is why I would probably take the Celine Triumph over the Chanel Mini. I guess I'm gonna go with the Celine Triumph. There you have it. Well, that's it, my friends. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. Hopefully not too long because I have to edit it and get it up. But thank you again to all of you who have submitted questions. It was fun hearing your questions. If you missed out, you know, make sure you're subscribed because I do put it in my community tab and you don't see those posts if you aren't subscribed to a creator's channel, just so you know. So anytime we talk about sales or have, you know, information that we want to share and we share it on our community tab, if you're not subscribed to that creator, you won't see those things. So make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to do a much better job this year of putting content and like daily outfits on Instagram. So definitely follow me there. It's the same name as it is here, Luxury and Life in the Middle, all one word. And yeah, let me know in the comments below how, you know, if you enjoyed it. If you missed out on putting a question and you want to ask something in the comments, let me know there. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. It helps the YouTube algorithm. And like I said, if you like my content and you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you. So click the subscribe button and the notification bell. If you haven't had enough of me yet, I will pop another video up here for you to watch. And wherever you are, I hope you are having an amazing day or evening. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.